All right, perfect little segue here for our first top story of this little segment that I like to do every day when I come onto the News Now set. Again, everybody, thanks for being here. My name is Pilar Arias. We're going to get the ball rolling here. Got to fix that camera just a little bit, huh? All right, so when you think about the holiday that's upcoming on Sunday, when you think about Easter, do you think about the economy? Do you think about the business side of things? Turns out Wall Street, stock market, actually really loves American holidays. Let's find out why.
Holidays can really drive America to shop. While Easter is no match for the mayhem of Christmas, it's definitely not one to overlook. This year, Americans are projected to spend over $18 billion, or about $151 per person. That's according to the National Retail Federation. Easter can fall anytime between March 22nd and April 25th. A month-long spread could mean billions of dollars.
Well, it's in late April. The weather might be a little bit better. There's probably less of a chance that we might have like a late season storm that might impede some of Easter sales.
Another key driver for how much is spent is how we celebrate. Americans are sticking with tradition. Most plan on spending time with friends, family, or both, serving up a home-cooked holiday meal, watching TV rounds on the top three, driven by the PGA, NBA, and NHL. All that ham and lamb means it's great to be a grocery store owner. Food gets the biggest slice of this pie, $5.74 billion. More than $3 billion on clothing, followed by gifts, flowers, decorations, and greeting cards.
The timing of it will be very interesting because it will really give us potentially the first snapshot of how the consumer feels about having a little bit more or a little bit less money in their pocket immediately after tax day.
You don't have to be a believer to take part. 21% won't celebrate, but about half will spend at least $20 each. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Christina Parts-Nevelis, Fox Business.
All right, that story got a lot of you talking. I saw some emojis on the YouTube chat, and then at least one viewer was like, hey, I've already bought some Easter candy, so let the celebration begin or let the celebration continue. It is Holy Week, and it kind of, made people think a little bit more about what happened at Notre Dame in Paris, France yesterday due to the timing of the fire that they're still saying is likely accidental due to renovations that were going on at the cathedral. All right, we're going to head on over to Indiana now, because when there's an emergency, whether it be a fire, medical emergency, you want the fire department to be able to gain access into a building as quickly as possible, right? Well, it turns out there's something that's helping an Indiana fire department do just that.
These little boxes are on around 300 businesses throughout the city.
It's easier, faster, and it's worth the money.
A business pays a one-time fee for a Knox box and places it somewhere by their front door.
We see smokes and we see a Knox box, we're going to unlock the door and go on in. Minimal damage to your building, other than whatever the fire might have caused on the inside.
So here's how it works. There are only 3 keys for the entire South Bend Fire Department.
They flip this lid up, they grab the key, put it in there, turn it to the left, and it pops open.
They then grab the keys inside the box to go inside. After inspecting the building, everything is placed back where it belongs.
They put the keys back up, they close the lid, make a half a turn, and boom.
Rodriguez says these boxes are comparable to vaults.
No other key can get this. Nobody can get into this Knox box. No matter how bad they try, they cannot.
If the fire department sees a fire, they are rushing in. But if an alarm goes off and they don't see or smell smoke, they have to wait for a key.
With the Knox box, we guarantee you there's nothing going on. Without the Knox box, if we don't have a see, hear, or smell, then we just wait for you to arrive.
And when waiting in these types of situations, seconds count.
You got to remember how fast fire multiplies every second. Not every minute, every second it multiplies.
All right, that report coming from South Bend, Indiana there. And what's interesting is I have seen those little boxes on buildings before, but I never knew what they were. So learn something new every day, right? Again, my name is Pilar Arias, everyone. I'm just one of 2 hosts here at News Now, which is a part of Fox10Phoenix.com. Happy Tuesday. So glad that you are here with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, everybody you know about us. It's kind of like that water cooler situation. You're at work and you're like, hey, did you see that story on News Now? Or what did you think about that live event? Or they had that breaking news coverage like that. police chases in particular, when we hear about them, when we have a camera above them, we'll bring it to you live as soon as we can. All right, we are going to talk about something interesting. Let's see some hands up emojis if you're willing to admit that you have children. Well, you know, whether they're going through it now or they have gone through it in the past, there's this kind of little time span called the terrible twos, right? Well, do you think meditation, do you think meditation can help? If so, how? Let's find out with this next report.
Taking big, deep breaths into your belly. Can you take big, deep breaths?
At the Happy Nest in Williamsburg, Brooklyn,
And listen to the sounds.
Charlotte Gibson is trying to tame the tiniest of minds.
Good girl, good meditating. When I was setting it up and would go into the bank or in any sort of place and saying I'm opening a meditation studio for kids, I got very peculiar looks from everyone saying for kids.
But as the saying goes, if you build it, they will come, or in this case, their parents will drop them off. The Happy Nest's duckling classes for the 2- and 3-year-old set have proven to be a hit.
Are there a lot of parents who come in and they're like, I don't know if my kids are going to do this?
We make it very playful. It's this mindful play, but then it has this double effect of calming the nervous system and changing mood.
The benefits, Gibson says, can also include improved attention and focus. And the parents, like Jess Moskowitz, say it's made parenting a little easier.
We end up using some of the tricks that Charlotte teaches us. So blowing out the birthday candles to kind of calm down is a big one that we've been using in our house.
3, 4, 5. Oh, that was a big breath.
Gibson is a former elementary school teacher who years ago decided to bring her own love of meditation and mindfulness into her classrooms.
I started to notice these huge benefits from these 7- and 8-year-olds, and I thought I wanted to expand.
She opened the studio in January and also offers classes for adults and older kids who do quiet down a bit more easily. But despite the typical toddler behavior, Gibson says the little kids do mellow out more than you might expect.
It does end up being a little bit like monkey see, monkey do, and once one child is sort of doing it, it ends up being this sort of community collaborative calm circle.
Stacey Delicat, Fox 5 News.
All right, everyone, we're bringing you out live right here to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona, where our South Mountain Tower Cam is getting a little bit of wind up there, and we are hearing that showers are moving into Arizona from California as we speak. I do believe I heard we have a 50% chance of some rain showers today, so we'll keep a very close eye on the weather conditions. Unfortunately, that news conference that I teased at the end of News Now on Fox 10 Extra, and I've been telling you guys about ever since I got onto the set, about the man who was deported to Nogales, Mexico, and has already returned. That's already happened, so we won't be having that for you here on News Now, but I just wanted to make sure that you know. Another reason I brought you back to Phoenix, Arizona is because our very own Jennifer Martinez has this next top story about a 64-year-old racquetball champ. Man, I hope I'm that active when I'm that age. Let's get her story.
In my mind, I think I'm 27. My body doesn't always say that, especially after the aches and pains of a racquetball tournament.
Despite those aches and pains, Susan Hendricks is going against all odds as a 64-year-old racquetball player at Arizona State University. A couple of years ago, Susan had an epiphany to go back to school.
I thought, gosh, if I'm going back to ASU, maybe I can try out for the team. So that's what I'm doing, and ended up on the racquetball team last year.
Hendricks has been a competitive racquetball player since her early 20s, but going up against these young students was a little nerve-wracking. They're faster and much younger, but
it's more what we do on the court together. It's like our universal language. Racquetball is like sports or like music. It brings people together, no matter what your age is.
Anybody that is able to step in and bring some valued competition to the team is always welcome. This one just happens to be 64 years old who's doing it.
Last weekend at the National Collegiate Racquetball Championship, she won a silver medal, beating 2 opponents from Texas and Oregon.
This is a very unique title. To be a collegiate All-American in general is a very high designation, but to be the oldest one ever is something that I was very happy to see her accomplish.
It's an awesome feeling. It feels like you get through some of those barriers that you think you can't win, or there's no way you're going to get through all this. And then when you do, it's exhilarating.